All right, what the heck is going on in the Lakewood Ranch real estate market? Hey, it's Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, and each and every month bring you a perspective on what's going on based on 9 key metrics, health metrics, if you will, of the real estate market in Lakewood Ranch. And a couple months ago, I pivoted to making this on a screen recorder versus just straight video so that you can follow along with the numbers with me, the ones that I'm reading off on the video, and it's kind of tough to follow along. And also it gives the opportunity to show you long-term perspective going back to, well, I'll show you here in a second. But again, 9 key metrics here. The color coding is such that the green metrics are moving towards in favor of sellers, the red metrics moving in favor of buyers. So again, we'll look at this month over month, we'll look at it year over year and a little bit longer perspective so that if you are in the real estate market or you plan on entering the market as a buyer, as a seller, you're doing both at the same time, you know how to put this data in place to use to your advantage for your goals. That's the plain and simple of it. So let's dive right in. I'm gonna start with the green metrics here. These are the health metrics that are moving in favor of sellers, or at least moved in favor of sellers for a month. We'll see how those trends continue. But taking it from let's jump right in the middle here. Available homes. Now, the big story out there, of course, when you read national media outlets is inventory stacking. And I track a lot of markets, and a lot of markets are up significantly month over month and year over year. But actually, in Lakewood Ranch, there was a slight drop in inventory between March and April, a 2.2% drop. That's green because if you're a seller, you want to see that, less competition, obviously. New listings fell by 16.2% month over month. So that's definitely a contributor to the reduction in available homes. Now, the average price up 0.7% month over month. It's good to see up, but that only measures the homes that closed in April compared to the homes that closed in March. All right, days on market fell slightly, 5.3%. That's good if you're a seller. We talked about new listings hitting the market falling because it wasn't due to increasing purchase contracts. Unfortunately, that number fell by 14.1% month over month. So in March, 227 properties went under contract. Compare that to April, just 195. Closed sales. Now this is fascinating because March, if you look at March here, there was a 23% increase in contracts, which theoretically would push April closings up. Yet there was a 10% drop in closed sales in April. Now granted, some of these contracts may not have closed yet. Some may be new construction. And yet the fallout rate between contract and closed is up. So that's definitely something to watch, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit. And in fact, the median price went the other direction with a 2.4% drop. Also down is the median sold price to list price ratio. What does that mean? That's the relationship, the percentage relationship between the final asking price and close price. That number fell by 1% down to 95.65. So that means on average, or I should say on median, buyers are closing 4.35% under last asking price. So negotiations are being had. That, by the way, does not count any seller-funded buyer concessions. Median days on market, on the other hand, went the other direction, 3.1%. So the average is 90 and the median was 67. Now, let's move into a year-over-year perspective of this. And I'm going to go here. Yep. Forgive me, I track a lot of markets. All right, so lots of red, a little bit of green, one yellow because there's a number I didn't have. So let's talk about the green first. These, again, are the metrics that you as a seller, let's pretend you're selling a home independent of buying another home. Maybe you're buying in another market. Maybe you're selling to go rent. I see that all the time as well. You just want to see green numbers. And the green numbers year over year, new listings fell by 16.2% in April, and the average price went up by 1.8%. But let's stay right there for a second. The average price jumped from 745 to 758. However, the median price dropped by 10.8%. Sean, how does that happen? Well, average always brought up by high-end sales. Median is the median. Half sell below, half sell above. Let you do your own math there. But a drop in the median is a drop in the median. It's something we definitely want to pay attention to. Median sold price to list price ratio down 3.8% year over year. Purchase contracts, closings, both down double digits, 12.2%, 14.9%. Market times up nearly around 50%. Average is up 55%. Last year was 58 days. This year it's 90 days. Median up 49%, going from 45 to 67. Now, let's take a look. Let's finish this conversation with a little bit of perspective. And this goes back to February of 2024 is how far back we went with this. Now, keep in mind, now we're looking at almost a year and a half, no, not quite a year and a half worth of data, but enough to spot the trends. And that's where we're going with this. So first one here, this is average and median days on market. And they kind of run parallel to each other, but the trend is upwards. So we're continuing to see longer and longer market times in Lakewood Ranch. Now it's kind of flatlined since about September of last year. Not any effect from, hurricanes last year. That stayed about the same. There was a jump in January and then kind of right back to where it had been. But moving down to here, this is going to measure, the longer bars here, the blue is new listings. So new listings relatively flat. In fact, I'd say more of a downward trend. New purchase contracts, again, also relatively flat. A little bit of a downward turn in the back half of last year, but also a little bit of increase since about December, although the number did fall in April. The red, we just started measuring too late. We started measuring in January of this year. That is available homes, and we'll continue to watch the relationship between those three. But you see between February and March, big jump in homes that kind of came back a little bit in April. Closed sales. So it started with this data track in February of 24. And by March, we're seeing 200 plus, almost 240 in June, closed sales, only to start falling till we got to October of last year with just 154. Now that's not over. That went up north of 200 again, but then fell all the way back down to 144 in February, back up over 200, down to 189. So not a whole heck of a lot of trends to watch here. Kind of just been zigging and zagging below and above 200 closed sales. Now, second to last, average and median price. Down. No other way to put it. Average and median price, if you look at it from a trend since February of 24, been trending down. Median got as high as $695 in December, and it's now sitting at $550. And you have to go back well beyond what I have tracked here to see $550. Lastly, median sold price to list price ratio. Again, this measures the median close price compared to the median last asking price before it went under contract. Downward trend, right? Never got above 100 in this measurement. 99.94 was the high in, was that June of last year? And that's a full almost 4.5% higher than it is today. So again, watching that start to trend downward, watching that continue to trend downward. And there you go. There's the Lakewood Ranch market in a minute. I know we went closer to 10 minutes, yet all of this data is useful. Like if you're considering entering the market or you are currently in the market and you just need some guidance, let's talk about how to put this data to work for you. This is a Lakewood Ranch wide report. Not all neighborhoods are going to perform the same. If you have questions on the market We are here to be a resource for you. Let us know, drop a comment, find me on social. Again, Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next month.